Fishyaker.com, the original kayak rigging video series.
Hey guys, it's John again from Fishyaker.com. Last week's episode on generic kayaks got such a great response and feedback from people, I thought we probably need to do a follow-up on it. So here's a few items that I wrote down that I was thinking about in reference to some of the things that you guys were saying in the comments on Facebook and on the YouTube video itself. Keep in mind, when that video was made, our thoughts really were basically three items we were considering. First of all was from the specialty retailer point of view. For years I've been getting a lot of questions from retailers and comments from them saying they didn't like to either get involved in the kayak fishing industry, or they didn't want to sell lesser expensive kayaks because a lot of the people that were kayak fishing from were simply going to go to their local big box store. You name them, Dick's, Gander, Bass Pro Shops, Cabela's, now even Walmart. So a lot of them didn't want to try to compete with it. But is that a rational fear to compete with those big box retailers? The other thought was, should we judge somebody because of the kayak that they're using? Obviously no. Judge not lest ye be judged. And then the third point of view was from the purchaser, him or herself. What about the person that goes out there to buy that kayak that may end up with a generic or less expensive kayak? What should they be looking for? So really it was basically looking at three different points of view when it came down to the purchasing of less expensive kayaks, especially those big box kayaks. Well, let's look at it from the specialty retailer point of view. I've heard it for years that people, when they go to buy a less expensive kayak or buy a fishing kayak, the fear was that a lot of these people would simply go to those big box stores and buy the kayak when they buy their fishing gear. That's not necessarily true, because no matter what, the people would probably prefer to go to a specialty retailer because they're going to get a better product possibly. They're going to get more background and customer service. They're going to be directed towards the best kayak they possibly can get for their money. So I don't know if it's necessarily, that is an issue. And what about the type of kayak they're purchasing? They go to some of these big box stores, and not all kayaks are created equal. Not all, especially not all inexpensive or generic kayaks. You might go to one big box store and purchase a kayak for between $300 and $400. It doesn't mean that kayak is comparable to another one that your specialty retailer may have, or another big box store. You really need to shop around. What about the point of view of judging somebody because of the kayak? We shouldn't judge to begin with, because you really don't know why they're using that less expensive kayak. Well, obviously the biggest thing is probably they're testing the water. They're trying to see if they like kayak fishing or not. They may or may not stick around with it, whether they get an expensive kayak or they get a less expensive kayak. So we probably shouldn't judge them because of the kayak they're using. So it's a very good chance that they decide they like the kayak and they like fishing from it. They're probably going to upgrade within the next year or so anyway, because a lot of us started out that way. So you really can't judge them because of the kayak they're getting. My big fear is for the third person in this. That's the purchaser, the customer, the person himself purchasing that less expensive kayak, because like I mentioned, not all less expensive kayaks are created equally. First of all, you go to one retailer, if you take a look at the plastic of it, if you can flex that plastic in, if it feels like a milk jug, or you can dig your fingernails in it, you can tell it's really soft plastic. Or what about the design? Some of these manufacturers may not even tank test or even make a prototype to demo out before they start doing the production process, so they may not track very well. They may be super tippy, and a lot of these boats don't actually say how much the weight capacity is. You got to remember, the first thing you want to look at, you can look at some of the older Fishyaker videos, and you're looking at a kayak to buy it, the first thing you want to do before you even look at the styling and design of the kayak is what the weight capacity is. You want to look at your weight and then decide how much your gear is going to weigh and still get something with a higher capacity than all of that together. A lot of these manufacturers don't even put that on it, especially these cheaper kayaks. So that's the first thing you want to do before you even go any further. Make sure it's going to handle you, because you don't want to be sitting way too low in the water, and then a power boat goes by you, you're going to take water over the bow and the puppy's going to sink on you. So really, that's the first thing you want to look at. So the most important factor here is getting a quality kayak, as high of a quality as your budget can afford, that's still safe and still is reliable. Because you don't want to purchase a kayak that's going to be inferior, and you're going to judge all kayaks by that first example that you ever fished from. So really, what we're looking at here is 3 points of view. Your retailers, which I don't really think they need to fear, because I don't think it's really affecting them, because a lot of these people that are purchasing less expensive kayaks might not have even gone to them initially in the first place, because they may have had a lower budget than even what they would have had 5-6 years ago, before the big box stores were even carrying them. And then you have the people, the other people that see them out on the water, or see them drive into the water with them on their car. My big fear is, when I see somebody that has a kayak that I know isn't manufactured very well, because I know it's dangerous. That's the biggest problem. And then you have the person that's purchasing it. Take a look around. And the biggest thing here is, this thing sitting in front of me, my laptop. Before you just go to Walmart or somewhere and purchase a kayak, look around on the internet. Take a look at reviews, see what people said about it, post up on some of the online kayak fishing forums, on Facebook, on my page, you name it. Post around and take a look and see what people think of them, because you get what you pay for in a lot of these cases. That also being said, what time of year is it right now? We're getting into winter. What about all the people that bought kayaks last year that didn't really stick around with it? Or you never know. It's another chance that maybe somebody's ex-wife has one and trying to ditch to make a couple extra $100. And the same kayak may have cost $1,000 or $1,500 a year ago. You might be able to get it for, say, $500 now on Craigslist. Go to Craigslist, maybe eBay. Maybe there's a kayak locally that you can get. A whole bunch of different things. There's one other thing, too, you can think of. A lot of the manufacturers, the bigger name manufacturers out there, are under umbrella corporations. For instance, myself, I pro staff for Johnson Outdoors. If you see Johnson Outdoors boats, you'll see me often in 3 different types of boats. Old Town, Ocean Kayak, and Necky. They're all the same brand. There are a lot of companies out there that may even have more brands under them than that, and they're kind of tiered brands. So what they'll do in a lot of cases is take some of their molds from their higher end lines of kayaks, and they'll rebrand them with one of their less expensive, or ones that they may even sell to big box stores, and put a new brand name on the side of it. But in essence, that's the same exact kayak they may have had in their high-end line just 4 or 5 years ago, before, say, the big craze with elevated seats came in, for instance. It's still a very well-manufactured boat, the same quality materials, maybe even the same assembly line, and they just have a different brand's name on it. But it's the same exact boat you would have gotten with other brand's name on it just a couple years back. So it really, really pays to shop around. Don't just go to your local, big box store and pick up the first kayak you see, because you may regret it. So, that being said, judge not lest ye be judged. I don't really think it's bad for kayak fishing in general, unless you just don't want to have more people on the water. Yeah, if you want to have less people out fishing, it could be bad, because now there's a whole lot more kayaks in the water, and instead of people just fishing off the shore, chucking a line in and soaking bait. But other than that, it's not necessarily bad for, a retail standpoint. And a person's probably going to, if they get hooked, they're going to upgrade anyway. The biggest problem with generic kayaks, though, is that some are unsafe or very poorly designed. And then it's going to turn people off to the sport in general. They say, oh, kayak fishing sucks. I'm not doing this anymore because it's totally unstable. But they can't judge other kayaks by that one example of what they paddled, because they got an inferiorly designed kayak. Sorry to ramble, people. I just thought it was worth following up on it. Like I said, I made a little list of them here, some items to cover, and I think that basically covers it. So really, for those that are purchasing a less expensive kayak, please shop around. Don't just buy the first one you see at the store. Look around, look on Craigslist, look on eBay, maybe look in your classified ads. This is the time of year to get them, because once this weather starts warming up in March or so, there's going to be kind of a run on kayaks, and people are going to be looking all over the place for them, and you're probably not going to see a lot of deals out there. So right now, as it's starting to cool off, people trying to make extra room in their garage or in their basement or their shed or their yard or something. So they're going to have them out there trying to get rid of them. As always, I hope this video helps you out. Be sure to comment up on Facebook and on the YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. As you look right over here, you'll see a little link here to the subscription page. You can subscribe and get the videos right up front as soon as we put them online. And we'll always, as always, like us on Facebook. We'll catch you on the water. Be safe, no matter what kind of kayak you're on. Always wear your PFD, people, and practice CPR, catch, photo, release. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the water.